Hello, everybody. Welcome to your BC real estate guide for everyday buyers, sellers, and investors. I'm Garry Voigt, alongside my team, CJ Christensen and Donna Delkey.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking about BC assessment compared to market value. When January comes around, this question gets thrown around quite a bit. How does my house value compare to my BC assessment value? So we're going to touch on a couple points as to what the main differences are between the two. And then, of course, if you have any questions, the BC Assessment website is a fantastic source for Q&A, but feel free to reach out to us as well. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is market value. Okay, does your market value or does your BC assessment reflect the market value? What's the answer to that?
No.
No. It's a very simple answer, and the answer is no. And the reason being is because your BC assessment is actually assessed. Is it July 1st of the previous year?
Of the previous year. So if you've just got your assessment now, it's based on July 2022.
Yeah. So, and it doesn't come out until January the following year.
Right.
So we're already about 6-7 months behind, and potentially even close to what market value might be if BC assessment even is market value at the time in July, which a lot of the times it's not either. And there's a few reasons for that, and we're going to go over them right now. So basically the government assesses each home every year, and they assess it using, some components of a computer algorithm, and they say they use some appraisers as well, but they're doing millions of assessments.
And they physically never enter the home. They just drive past it, look at the lot size, look at the curb appeal of the house, but they never physically enter the home.
So actually on the website, it says the location of your home, the view from your home, the size of your home, the age of your home, garage, carport, deck, pools, etc. And then they go into comparable sales of other real estate in your area, and they put you into a specific class of property.
So those are really good points. And just in BC last year, they assessed 2.1 million homes. So wow. I know, CJ, you said that they were probably driving by the homes, checking out curb appeal. If they drove by 2.16 million homes to assess them for that year, I would be thoroughly surprised, but I could be wrong. So they use those factors in determining what the assessed value for your home might be for that time. Okay, then January comes around. I'm a homeowner personally, and I get in my mail a BC assessment notice. So the only reason that they send out the BC assessment is for tax purposes, in order to determine how much tax each household is going to pay. So the difference between market value, let's say, for example, January comes around, my assessment comes in at $1.6 million. Okay, I'm like, woohoo! I'm super excited, $1.6 million. Well, we just came off of, this is being recorded in 2023. We just came off of 2022, which is one of the hottest real estate markets in real estate history.
Yeah.
So now I get that, and I'm having a ton of clients message me saying, hey, Garry, is this BC assessment amount correct? Well, it might have been roughly accurate last year at this time, but since then, we've had a substantial change in the market. So the first thing I say was, well, the market changes, and it can change weekly. The market value is determined on a number of factors, including what recent homes have sold that are similar to yours in that specific area. So what BC assessment doesn't do is, when I do a market analysis, I will call other homes that are for sale or that I've recently sold. I'll talk to the realtor. I'll say, how many showings did you get? How many offers did you get? Especially if it's been on the market for 300 days or 200 days or 100 days. For a home that's sitting, we take all these kind of things into consideration when determining a market value. So there's major contributing factors that will differ market value from BC assessment value. Literally, BC assessment, the best way to look at it is a computer algorithm that comes up with a value for perhaps homes that have sold in your neighborhood. But in my opinion, I don't think they're doing really comprehensive market evaluations for your specific and style of home.
And how can they when they're doing over 2 million houses?
Exactly. So When we do a market value evaluation, we'll take into account recent sales, recent being sold probably within the last 60 to 90 days. And in a changing market, recent might mean sold within the last 30 days or the last week, depending on market conditions.
Totally.
So we'll take that into consideration. We'll take lot size consideration. We'll take any upgrades into consideration. A lot of the times, BC Assessment, they don't know of upgrades that a lot of homeowners have done. Not all of them are with permits done with the city, or not all of them have been registered. They're not aware of this. They're not aware of that. Maybe they just paved their driveway. Maybe they just put in new windows. Maybe they did this. There could be a number of upgrades that add a ton of value that BC Assessment doesn't know about.
Yeah. The assessment, for all they know, your house could have no work ever. Let's say if your house was built in 1985, you could have never lifted a finger. Original kitchen, original carpets, everything original. Or you could have updated everything, cleaned the whole house up, and they would be none the wiser.
Yeah, and a good point is maybe you bought the house with an unfinished basement suite. Maybe you finish it, or maybe you drywall it, maybe you do this, maybe you do that, maybe they missed it. How accurate are these BC assessments? It's not more accurate than somebody physically coming to your house and that physically has their finger on the pulse of the real estate market and knows exactly what's going on. They know buyer emotion at the time. They know inventory levels at the time. They know recent sales. Those are the contributing factors that will help you determine actual value of your house. Now, another question I get asked, is there an equation that you can use? Is there a percentage that differs from market value to BC assessed value? Again, the answer for that is no. The only way that you're going to know true market value of your home is having a professional, an experienced professional come in like us and go over all the determining factors that might play a role into what the sale price of your home might be. Okay? And don't forget, the price of your home is worth what someone's willing to pay for it, right? So again, to get true market value, you're going to have to look at market conditions, buyer emotions. How about outside conditions? What are interest rates at? Has this home down the street been sitting for 3 months? Did this home down the street sell in 2 days? Because the market changes that quickly. So that is basically the ins and outs of market value to assess value. Was there anything else that we missed on that?
No, there is one thing, just a little bit of advice here. If you don't agree with your BC assessment, you can actually appeal it. So if you just go onto the BC assessment website, there's a really good page there that shows you how to do that. But your assessment, if it's gone up a huge amount, like say maybe 30-40%, doesn't necessarily mean that your tax bill is going to go up that much. So if it's based on an average. So if you look at all of the homes in your municipality that are in the same property class and they've also gone up 30 or 40%, the average is still the same, then it's kind of unlikely that your tax bill is going to go up as well. So don't be scared if your tax bill has gone up. If your assessment has gone up, just wait for your tax bill and see what happens. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be paying more.
So you're saying, let's say I live in a detached house in Cloverdale. My value was, let's say, $1 million last year. Now it's gone up to 1.5. A big increase.
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm paying more taxes if all of my neighbors' property values also went up to a similar number.
Correct.
That's a great point. Yeah, if all the neighbors that are in the same property class went up the same amount, like the same percentage amount, then usually your tax wouldn't change. But if yours specifically went out a substantial amount, higher than average, then you might see your tax bill go up a little bit. But if it went down lower than the average for that class, then you might see your tax bill go down a bit. So that's another great point, and that is a question that we do get asked a lot. So hopefully this was able to help distinguish market value to appraised value. The long of the short of it is appraised value is usually done about 6 months ago, and even if at the time it is quite close to what your value is, by the time that it's released, most likely it's not even going to be close to what market conditions are and what market values are at that time. So the best way to know market value for your place,
get in touch with your realtor.
Call a
exactly.
realtor.
Call your realtor, call an expert, have them come by, walk through the house and go over with you what the current market conditions are, inventory, recent sales that are similar, and that'll help determine what a more accurate market value price will be.
Yep. Don't forget the assessed value is just determining how much tax your tax bill is.
Not what your house is actually worth.
Not what your house is actually worth. So hopefully this was educational, cleared up some questions. And if you have any questions about your accurate market value of your place, of course, we're always taking on new clients. Reach out and we would be happy to help.